always say the future is bright, and when we are looking at the future, we must always have our youth ready in terms of taking over and just delivering the goods. Last week we had at the Brookside sponsored Term 1 games of the Kenya Secondary School Association, Term 1 games happening in Mombasa. Different sporting disciplines came down in Mombasa. A lot to talk about. We are privileged and honored to be joined by some of the teams that took part in the Kenya Secondary School ball games Term 1 in Mombasa. So much to talk about because the teams are here from swimming, hockey, basketball, football, rugby, all the disciplines. Some of those disciplines are well represented in studio this afternoon. We'll start off with swimming. This is a sport that Kenya, has been pushing up to become one of the best in the world. We've seen so much happening. The Danford brothers brought Kenya to the map from an Olympic point of view. We have guests in studio this afternoon from Rusinga School, and this, this team represented Nairobi County, and they are here with us to just let us know what made them tick. How did it come down? What was it that they were looking out for? Was the weather the same in Nairobi? Was the water cold? They are here with us in studio. Let's take the opportunity to introduce the guests with us in studio and get to engage them to find out what the future holds for them, because we always say the future is tomorrow. Let me start by introducing first to my immediate left. We have Stacey Cherop from Rusinga, also a member of the swimming team that represented Nairobi County, taking part in the 50-meter breaststroke. Stacey, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Karibu sana.
Thank you.
How has it been for you?
It's been good, but it's been long.
It's been good and long.
Yeah.
We will talk about that,
Yeah.
as we get into the discussion proper. Next to Stacey is, Madam Susan Mwaura. Madam Susan has been with this team, with these two for quite some time, and she's known, the strengths and the weaknesses of these two, and she will be letting us know since, she's been with them for quite some time. What has she learned, and what can she tell us? What can she promise us as, the future looks like for them? She is the swimming coach from Rusinga. Madam Susan, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Karibu sana.
Thank you so much.
How has it been for you?
Good and exciting.
Good and exciting.
Yes.
We'll talk about that. Last but not least, we have Ashley Kagwima with us in studio. Ashley, also a member of Rusinga, member of the swimming team, represented Nairobi County, 100 meters backstroke and 50-meter backstroke, with us in studio. Ashley, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Karibu sana.
Thank you.
It might have been tough, but finally, it's all done and dusted. How was it like for you?
It was a very interesting and fun experience.
Fun experience.
Yeah.
Let's start off with Madam Susan Mwaura with us. Madam Susan, as the coach of these two, it must have been, an experience for you to take them to the nationals to represent Nairobi County. Not only were you the coach of Rusinga, but also ended up being the coach of Nairobi County entire swimming team. Were you satisfied with the results? Because from a lady's point of view, Nairobi County were the winners, followed by Mombasa. The boys came in second behind Mombasa. Were you satisfied with the overall performance of Nairobi County?
I would say I was very excited and also satisfied with the results that the two teams posted. We had a challenge with the boys team because some boys dropped out at the last minute, but the girls team put on a strong fight, and they all emerged the best team. And not only did they just push themselves so hard, but they also posted new good personal best times, each one of them. Interesting to note that, you beat the likes of Mombasa, because there are those who always just fear Mombasa, knowing that Mombasa and the exposure with the ocean, they are very good swimmers. But when it comes to swimming in the pool, it's a different ball game. Do you agree that it's not just like going to swim in the ocean? When you get to the pool, it's a different ball game, Stacey?
Yeah, absolutely. Because I feel like in the ocean, there's waves, so there's resistance. So you're bound to
water.
Yeah, but yeah, so you're bound to swim slower in the ocean than in the pool.
Correct.
Yeah.
How was it like for you?
I think it was exciting, but then, as I said, it was long because I had not trained in some time. So I was even shocked when I qualified to go to Mombasa, to be very honest. But all glory be to God. Yeah, yeah.
Why were you shocked? The competition was stiff?
Yeah, because in Nairobi, there were some swimmers, as coach had mentioned earlier, there were some swimmers that we were not familiar with that had come to swim for the first gala that happened. So it was quite competitive, and we weren't really put in heats whereby, let's say, for example, the last heat had super fast swimmers, and then, you know, as you're descending, that's when the swimmers get faster. No, like we were just put in random heats, so it was a bit overstimulating to an extent, but yeah, it was good.
Good by the end of the day, because you've also made the team that will be representing the country, and wishing you all the best. We'll talk about that in a moment. Let's go to Ashley. Ashley, 100-meter breaststroke is not the easiest. Yes, and when you now do again 50, it becomes very challenging. How do you prepare for the same?
For me, it's mostly mental preparation. I just have to tell myself that I've done this before and I can do it again. So once I'm mentally in the headspace where I know I can do it, it becomes easy to physically achieve what I want. But it also is hard when you have other competitors with you, and for the 100 backstroke, I remember we all basically had the same times. So going into the final, it was scary because you really don't know. It could have gone any way, but thankfully, by the grace of God, I ended up winning and qualifying. So yeah.
It's not the easiest, because if you have to go, on your back, the backstroke is not the easiest. Coach, how do you get them to perfect this, backstroke thing? It's not the easiest because it's your back, your head is, facing up the sky, and so much is going in. Where are the strengths? Are they in the arms going backwards, or basically it's everything to do with your physical preparedness, like she rightly, puts it?
Actually, backstroke is one of the easiest strokes to learn.
Oh, really?
Vis-a-vis what people think that the other strokes are hard, are easy than backstroke, because when you're swimming on your back, you're not thinking about your breathing. But once you start doing competitive swimming, you have to also learn the rhythm of when to breathe in and when to breathe out for you to be able to do a strong backstroke. Now for Ashley, for her preparation, throughout her training session, we always have what you call backstroke flag, which if a swimmer is used to training and practicing with them, then when it gets to competition time, she will be able to perform, or he will be able to perform better based on the fact that they are already used to training with the backstroke flags.
And as you do that, to expose, for one to become a good swimmer, what are those qualities that you'd look out for and say, this can become a very good swimmer?
Everyone is a swimmer. Everybody is a swimmer. You just need to put your mind into it to become a swimmer. I would never have known that she's going to become a good breaststroker. I would never have known that Ashley was going to become a best breaststroker, a backstroker. But once you set your mind into it, you put consistency, you put training into it, you can become all that it takes to become a good swimmer.
When did you start with them? Because you mentioned earlier on you started with them at a very early age.
Cherop, she was about 6, 7 years old. That's when she started learning how to swim. And Ashley when she was about 5 years old. And they both have been winners in their age group since that young age group. Right now, they're in their high school level. So training is a little bit difficult. They just come to the pool whenever they have the opportunity to get into the water. We have that opening understanding between the two of them, that whenever they are free, they can be able to come into the pool and have a training session. Right now, it's hard because they're balancing books and their physical activities. So the good support that they have from both the school and the parents is just encouraging to just see how they are progressing on in their life. And as she has told you, she probably one day will want to become an Olympian. So I pray to God that they get to do it.
Yeah, I mean, you've brought in a very good angle, which is how do you balance, you balancing studies and swimming. Stacey, how do you get the balancing act to ensure that you still remain afloat from an academic point of view and still get the best from your talent, which is in swimming?
Time management. Time management is such a pivotal thing when it comes to balancing sports and academics. And that has something that has been reinforced to us ever since we started swimming. So I'm very grateful for that. However, at times you can find yourself leaning onto one side, so then the other side becomes neglected. So then you have to come back and restructure, and then you see how you can even plan yourself. So primarily it's time management and planning adequately. Yeah.
As we talk about that, Ashley, the weather in Nairobi has been, on and off. Today it's very cold. The next morning it's a bit warm, and you go to Mombasa, humid. The temperatures, can get to very, very extreme in terms of, a complete opposite of what it is in Nairobi. Did the weather affect you guys in any way?
Yes, it was really hot. Mombasa is always hot, but I feel like it was ungodly hot this time. Because immediately we reached, you're stepping out of the plane and you're already sweating. How did it affect me swimming wise? I feel like the first day we reached when we were training, I had to get used to the water because it was also hot, not even warm, it was hot. And when you sprint in hot water, for me, I was getting like migraines and everything. So I had to, but once I got used to the water, when we finally had the competition, it was better. And also coast water is a bit lighter, so it didn't really affect me much on the days of the competition in terms of my swimming, but otherwise it was really, really hot.
As we talk about, the extreme, the hot conditions in Mombasa, Stacey, now that, we have the East African Games coming to Kenya, this is a question that I will engage and I will ask all all the students who are here, even those who will be coming, in the set next to just talk to us about their games.
Yeah.
The venue has not been decided yet.
Yeah.
It could be Mombasa, it could be Nairobi, Eldoret, Kakamega, Kisumu. In your opinion, where do they take the games?
Nairobi or Mombasa, but because I'm biased, I'll say Mombasa.
You'd want the East African Games to go to Mombasa?
Yes, absolutely.
To get the opportunity to go in as a tourist, or
I think we need to strike the balance between being an athlete and a tourist. So I'd say both.
You'd say both?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Madam Susan, as the coach, now that they've qualified, talk to us about their training sessions, because we all understand soon schools are opening. Which means that they will still have to start balancing, but you also need them to get back to the pool to be in the best of shapes as they get ready for the East African Games. What's the plan?
The plan is all the swimmers who have qualified, and there are about 30 from across Kenya. The thing is they should continue with their training sessions. Like for us at Rusinga, we train Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and we probably will be introducing a morning session to be able to accommodate the students who are doing exams and to actually accommodate the ones who are doing exams and academics, so that at least they will be able to have a balance with that.
As you balance the same, very interesting, because you've mentioned that yes, you are having that in mind to consider their academics as well, and also to ensure that the same happens. Let's engage Ashley and just find out, Ashley, where do you see yourself in the East African Games? Do you want to go all the way and become the East African champion now that at least you are the 100-meter backstroke champion in Kenya? Are you looking at maintaining the same to become the East African champion?
Yes. I've done it before. I've attended the East African Games before twice. So I believe that I can achieve it again. Just have to put in the work. Yeah.
We look at the same, and they say in Swahili, mcheza kwao hutunzwa na hutuzwa. If the games are held in Mombasa, Nairobi, or wherever, what would you ask the Kenyan fans to do in terms of coming out to rally for their own? Because in Swahili they say mcheza kwao hutunzwa na hutuzwa pia.
That's a very good question. Well, Honestly, I think that I just emphasize on the fact that we're one, and you know, it's important to support even the upcoming athletes that have not yet reached such higher levels, such as the Olympic level, when it comes to events like the East Africa Games. So just really just emphasizing on the fact that support is pivotal. Yeah.
Your final word in less than 30 seconds?
We hope to see you guys in either East Africa Games, and thank you so much for even just enabling us to be in this interview. Yeah.
Karibu sana, it's our pleasure. Ashley, your parting shot?
Thank you so much for this opportunity, and pray for us as we move on to East Africa.
You will be the East African champions. Madam Susan as their coach?
Thank you so much for bringing swimming live, and we want to wish all the swimmers who have made it into the Kenyan team all the best, and we just wish that they will continue training, even the ones who are getting into their exam mode, that just know that we will be here to support you in the best way possible. Thank you for bringing us to KBC Channel 1, and we hope that we have been heard, and we hope that the other teams will be encouraged to do the same. And for this funds, wherever East Africa is going to be, please come out and support all the teams that will be participating for the East Africa. These are the swimmers, the basketballers, the soccer players, the athletics. Guys, you don't need to go far. Just come and support the Kenyan teams. Thank you.
Come support the Kenyan teams. We saw you come out in large numbers during the Mashemeji Derby at the Nyayo National Stadium. We saw Kenyan fans turn up in large numbers as the Kenyan Harambee Stars took on Azingo National of Gabon here in Nairobi. Come out in large numbers is the plea from Stacey, Ashley, and Susan as we bid them farewell, you know, to bring in the next set of guests because they are all here in studio. We leave you with the Prodigy segment, and in the Prodigy segment this time round, we are featuring Elizabeth Cassidy, who is a chess player. Let's do that as we bring in another set of guests in studio to let us know what's making them tick. The Prodigy is up next. As mentioned earlier on, we were just changing gears, moving from swimming and now heading into hockey. Hockey has been one of the best games that Kenya in the yesteryears was one of the best. Kenya emerging as gold medalists in 1987 in the 4th All-African Games. Kenya was one of the nations to look out for very big names, Akatsa, Chris Otambo, very big names to mention, you know, just but a few. The current Kenya Hockey Union president, that's Nation Randiaka. Some of the best names to have come out from hockey. We shift gears and now we have hockey players with us in studio, you know, who are in Mombasa representing Nairobi County, and let me take the opportunity to introduce them to let us know, you know, how the whole, you know, hockey, you know, game went out. Adam Obura, teacher, team manager, Hospital Hill High School, also with the team that went down. Adam, good afternoon.
Good afternoon to you.
Karibu sana.
Shukran, nashukuru sana.
Imekuwaje?
It was awesome. It was an awesome experience.
It was awesome.
Yes, being debutants in the nationals, I think we really enjoyed the stay there.
You enjoyed. We'll talk much about it. Tilly Omondi, also a member of Hospital Hill High School. Karibu sana.
Asante sana, nashukuru.
Thank you. Next, we have Susan Wanjiru with Mwiki Secondary School, who finished up in the 4th position, also heading to the East African Games. Susan, karibu sana.
Thank you.
And last but not least, Evelyn Atieno, also with us from Mwiki Secondary School. Evelyn, good afternoon.
Good afternoon to you.
Thank you very much. Looking forward to this discussion, but before that, let's go into a short commercial break. When we come back, we'll engage them to find out what is it like in hockey to be heading into the East African Games. Don't go away. A short commercial break is up next. 30 minutes gone in the first leg of the Women's Champions League semi-final. Arsenal hosting Olympic Lyon in the 17th minute. Diani of Olympic Lyon giving Olympic Lyon, you know, the leading goal. So it is Arsenal 0, Olympic Lyon 1 in the first leg of the Champions League semi-finals, UEFA Champions League women's side. So Olympic Leo currently leading Arsenal by 1-0. Remember, it is the first leg with the return leg also coming up next weekend. Whoever wins gets to the final, and the other semi-final, it is Barcelona taking on Chelsea. We'll have to wait and see how that pans out. And before we went for the break, introduced the hockey players with us in studio from Hospital Hill High School and Mwiki Secondary School. Remember, Mwiki finished in the 4th position behind Winners Tigoi, St. Joseph's, Ngia, and they were in the 4th position. For the boys' side, it was Musingu, St. Anthony of Kitale, M-Pesa Foundation, and St. Charles Luanga in the 4th position. Then 5th was Hospital Hill. Let's start off with Evelyn. Evelyn, from Mwiki Secondary School, how was it like finishing in the 4th position? You've qualified going into the East African Games. How are the games for you?
The games for us were very much contending, being that it's been a journey for us. When we started, our aim was to go for the nationals. That was in Mombasa. But along the way, when we got there and played our first game, which we won, we had to change our mindset. It moved from just being participants in the national to participants in the East African Championship.
Wow.
So it was thrilling to us.
You started off by just having yourself, let's make it to Mombasa. But when you got to Mombasa, the mindset changed. That,
exactly.
Guys, this is already a bonus. Now let's think about East Africa.
Yeah.
And here you are, Susan. You're in the East African Games, as Evelyn says. You wanted to be in Mombasa. You got to Mombasa. You changed gears. You want to now go into the East African Games. How was it like for you to just qualify for the East African Games?
It was so fun, and it was a nice experience because many of us learned a lesson, and we're not actually sure that we'll qualify to the East Africa. We were going to Mombasa just to play.
And the rest is history.
Yeah.
Congratulations, congratulations indeed. Tilly, Hospital Hill, you came that close, but unfortunately you were locked out, by a whisker, but you came that close. How was the experience like for you, Hospital Hill High School?
For it being our first time as Hospital Hill, it's a history we've made. Yeah, it was competitive, it was tough. So next year, we're looking forward to East Africa.
You will be back.
Yeah, East Africa was our target, but unfortunately.
But as debutants, you are dreaming that big, that you're going all the way to the East African Games.
Yeah, we believed in ourselves. Yeah, the training sessions, sacrifice we made, the support we got. Yeah, we didn't want to disappoint.
Wow. That's Hospital Hill. The principal is Bunyasi. Yes, a very good friend of mine. Please pass my regards to Bunyasi. Let's come to you, Adam. As you're a teacher at Hospital Hill, also the team manager of the side. Very good performance in terms of making it to the nationals. How was it like for you maneuvering and ensuring that first and foremost, first things first, let's get to the nationals? How was it like for you?
For us, we can say the thing that paid off for us was determination, commitment, maybe the hard work we put in, and the support from the administration, of course. We have had a very good support from both administration and some of our parents, who even made it to some of our games. Yes, some of them support us financially, with other materials, team equipments, with the administration coming in with the basic stuff. But all in all, what we wanted to do is give that thanks to all those people who took part in making this team a success. So we were there, we tried our best really. I can't say that we played bad. We played really well, because we actually never lost a match till we reached the nationals. So we were very proud of the boys. They did us proud. They played a very good match. Maybe you can say, for the experience in Mombasa, being debutants and stuff, and the guys we were pulled with are those guys who have been there before. So we are very proud of our boys. They did well, and we are grateful for them. What you can say about the next time we play again, they should watch out for us, because we'll be coming for them.
You'll be coming back for them.
Yes.
Shots fired, shots fired. That's Musingu, St. Anthony's Kitale, M-Pesa Foundation, St. Charles Luanga. Shots fired. We will be back. That's Hospital Hill debutants, but they gave it their best. Let's go to Evelyn. Evelyn, of all the matches that you played, in the nationals, at the national levels, which was the most difficult for you, and why would you say that was the most difficult?
Of all the matches we played, the outstanding one was with Tigoi, because they have been there. We actually making a comeback from 2022 when we managed to get to the nationals, but unfortunately we were not successful at that time. So in 2025, we played and we got to where we were. And being that Tigoi has been there, it was tough for us because looking at the other teams and how they had played with them, we were expecting not to be beaten more. We were actually expecting more than what we got, but our girls were very resilient. They managed to beat us one, but at the final minute, at the last minute, but we actually outdid ourselves. That was the outstanding game that we say we had with them.
How painful was it conceding a goal in the last minutes?
It was painful, being that you can imagine defending throughout. You are in your last quarter, and the 3 quarters, you've not had any goal. And then in the last one, just about a minute to go,
the ball sounds.
The ball gets in. Yeah, it was a bit painful for us, but we don't stop at that. Yeah, it actually opened our eyes. We got to see how other teams do their thing, and we're actually preparing for East Africa in August.
Wow.
Yeah,
in terms of, yes, go ahead.
So it's going to be a very interesting competition come August. In terms of preparedness, we are very much prepared.
Very prepared.
Very prepared.
Susan, how do we now transition into, studies are also here. The nationals will be happening in August. You have a few months while you must continue practicing. You must also focus on studies. How do you intend to work on the same, or you leave that to the technical teams to now come up with a training manual that will see you guys still remain in top shape, but also focus on books?
Oh, it is about how you manage your time. When you don't have to lose much of the time training, and the books are there waiting for you. So time management is a key. A lot of time we use in studies and less time we use in training, and that makes it serious for us.
Makes it easy. Before I come to the gentlemen, because both of you are heading to the nationals, yes. I just want to know your preference. Where does the nationals go? In Kisumu or Kakamega or Mombasa, or remains in Nairobi?
I think based on where we come from, the fact that we went to Mombasa was an exposure for most of us, and our students were happy. I wouldn't mind if it went to another city, another exposure for us that we'll get to have with our kids. Yeah. So whichever part of the country it goes to, we are ready.
You're ready.
Very ready.
Let me engage Adam. Adam, as a teacher and of course team manager, and there are so many things that one would look out for in terms of where to host the games. One is our logistics in terms of accessibility, but there's always the notion of mcheza kwao hutunzwa na hutuzwa, which means the crowd factor. Because we've seen cases where the crowd just pushes a team to victory when things are not going well. Yeah. As a teacher, what would your suggestion be to the organizers to take it where?
My suggestion will be, first of all, you should remember these games are for the kids. That's one. So most of the interest will go to these kids. Where do they want the sports to be? Because for the nationals that we went to the other day, I'm pretty sure these kids enjoyed themselves to the maximum. Yeah, because it's a tourist city. And for these guys to play, actually, the reason why we aimed at the nationals is because we had the nationals supposed to be held in Mombasa. So even me as a player during my time, I was really admiring to go to Mombasa for the nationals.
So it was an incentive in
Yes,
itself.
yes. So what I can say, if they are supposed to choose maybe, in terms of logistics, which is a factor of course, yes, but remember we're also hosting guys from outside the country.
Correct.
And these ones will come as tourists, of course. So what do you want to showcase? What do you want to really show these guys about our country? Yeah, so having putting logistics in mind, but also remembering that we have to sell ourselves to the outside world, I'd go for Mombasa. I wouldn't mind them going back to Mombasa.
Back to Mombasa.
Yes.
Okay. Interesting. You brought in some very good, aspects of it in terms of selling this nation as a tourist destination.
Yes.
But let's now look at the sport in general.
Yeah.
Tilly, you are a hockey player. You came that close. You've promised that you will be back. What is it that you're going to do differently from what happened, or where do you think you lost, your games? Was it lack of experience? Was it that the other teams were just, exceptional? Were they just very good and better than you guys on the day they had that a slight edge? Where do you think you lost it?
For us, I can say, experience, we had a lot of experience, we had a lot of exposure before we went to the nationals. Yeah, we played very many tournaments, we played very many friendlies. Yeah, we also registered in the league. Yeah, we played league matches, so the exposure is there. What I can say we lost is the confidence in us. Ilipotea kidogo. Yeah, but we are good.
Ama mulifika Mombasa mkasema
Stage fright.
Tushafika stage fright. Tumefika Mombasani, which was our agenda. Now let nature take its course.
No. That part of confidence, if you see the match we lost against St. Anthony's Kitale, that was the first match that we lost since we started playing inter-schools. And like the 2 goals they scored against us, the first 2 goals were turnovers. Yeah, and the third one was a clean goal. So the confidence in us.
It's just the confidence.
Yeah, the confidence.
Susan, let's come back to you and just ask now that, you went through Nairobi region, champions went and now faced the other regions within the country. How do you rate in terms of standards of the game? Do you think the standards are improving from a hockey point of view, or there is so much that we need to do as a country based on what you've seen from the standards in the nationals?
The standards are improving. I can say many of us have a lot of experience. It is that we don't use our minds. Like unapata kuna mse mwenye nigonge hii ball nifanye nini, atutumia yani akili sana. Yeah, we have a lot of experience, but in our minds we are slightly nyuma sana.
Okay, interesting indeed. As we look at, Evelyn, the standards of hockey in the country, you are young, upcoming. We've already seen our hockey players from the girls' side, going clubs, even going to represent the country internationally. Where do you see yourself from a hockey point of view in the next, say, 5-10 years to come? Do you think you will be at the best, at your peak? And where do you see hockey in general?
In the next 10 years to come, first of all, I'm very proud. We are having one of our own, grown, nurtured in Mwiki, representing the Kenyan Hockey Under-21. So as a school, we are proud of her. It shows that there's growth in the hockey industry. And so we expect that in the next, let's give it like 5 years, most of our learners who we are nurturing for the outside world will actually be there to represent Kenya under different capacities, both the boys and also the girls. We have hockey boys, only that they got eliminated at the quarters, the quarters in Nairobi region, but they are a strong team. So next year, they are also to watch out for. The competition is going to be tough.
So shots fired to them as well.
Shots fired to them as well, yeah.
They need to be prepared.
Yeah, they need to be prepared, but we've come from far, and there's a lot of development that has taken place, being that we expose these kids to a lot of matches, and when they go to competition, they're actually prepared because they've been able to interact with different people older than them, giving them the experience, and the technicals and the know-hows of how it should be done. So we are seeing ourselves somewhere and somewhere better and greater.
You said earlier on that the match against Tigoi was painful for you, and the girls.
Yeah, it was.
If you were to meet them in the East Africa, which I bet you will meet them at some point,
Yeah.
do you see the girls turning tables?
The tables must turn.
Must turn.
We don't have an option.
You don't have
we
an
don't
option.
have an option. The tables must turn in our favor.
In your favor, that is.
In our favor.
Wow.
Because we are putting all necessary arrangements and making sacrifices, which we want to pay off come August.
So you're proud of the girls with everything that they did, and you can only see them get better as you move to the next level.
I could never be any proud of them than I am.
Wow. Thank you. Wishing you all the best. Adam, based on the standards that you saw and as the team manager, generally of both boys and girls, does it give you hope that Mbele iko sawa from a hockey point?
From a hockey point of view, what I can say is that we are seeing high school hockey changing, and I can give a special thanks to the academies that are growing up. We have various academies that are cropping up. Even Wiki has an academy with very good boys and girls. So we're hoping that the government maybe can come and tap in such kind of things. Don't let it to the private sector only. Rather, what they can do, just the fundings, because as a team manager, I can say the main challenge with running a team is the money. Yeah, so I even give a special thanks to those kids, the likes of HESA Academy, Impala, we have Mwiki Academy, we have an academy in Obama. There are various academies outside the region. One in Kisii, I think Kisii Nyanza has an academy, Western has an academy. So those kind of things are what are making hockey change currently. These guys are playing beautiful hockey, and the only way you can ensure that the sport is growing is if we tap into that. Ensure that these learners get the skill early enough. Let's not wait for the, when we were growing up, you'd see a stick when you join Form 1. But nowadays you see some small babies with sticks, and they are skillful. So I can say, with that in mind, in some 5 years or 6, we are seeing hockey going somewhere, maybe even to the Olympics, we never know.
It used to be a requirement in the yesteryears that anyone reporting to school must have a hockey stick. Is it still there?
No, it's
not really.
But the kind of hockey sticks that people are taking to school are also of low quality.
Let's introduce the team with us in studio. We have with us, to my farthest left, we have Yusra Adam, a basketball player from Olympic Secondary School in Kibra. Yusra, hujambo? Sijambo. Karibu sana. Next to Yusra, we have Wendy Jabia, also from Olympic School with us, a basketballer, with the team, was in Mombasa, finished in the 4th position and also making it to the East African Games. So Wendy, vipi? Mzima? Karibu sana. East Africa tunayo hatuna? Tunayo. Na wao. Karibu sana. Next to, Wendy, we have Osudo Fidel from Dagoretti High School. They went in their perennial, perennial participants in the games, finished in the 3rd position, also making it to the East African Games. Fidel, karibu sana.
Asante sana.
Habari ya Dago?
Mko mzuri sana.
Mko wazima? Bado mnagusa football?
Kabisa.
Kabisa. Mwengoja term 2?
Tunaingoja sana.
Kwa fujo.
Vibaya.
Tutaiongelea baadaye. Karibu sana. Last but not least, we have John Omache, Olympic school team manager, made his debut as a team manager in Mombasa with Olympic school. He will be letting us know how the experience was. John, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Karibu sana.
Asante.
Habari Olympic?
Very fine, thank you.
Kabisa.
Kabisa.
Let's start with you, John, as a debutant. You went with Olympic basketball team to Mombasa for the national games, and you not only took part, you ended up being among the teams that are going to represent the country in the East African Games. First and foremost, congratulations.
Thank you, thank you.
How was it like for you?
Let me start by saying that it was a very good experience to be at the nationals. Right away from the sub-county level, we had our aim and the target that we must reach the East African Games. And through the hard work and the discipline and the focus in our prayers, I can say that we are able to be among the best 4 teams going to East Africa this year.
Congratulations. And as that was happening, you know, Osudo and team Dagoretti also ensured that they were there to be counted. Laser Hill from, from Kajiado took the first position, beating Dagoretti, Dr. Agre of, the Coast region. Then Dagoretti came in fourth, Lukenya in third. Sorry, Lukenya coming in fourth. Fidel, how was it like for you guys to end up being in the podium?
It was a wonderful experience. We were very eager to play the games. That's why it was a very good experience for us.
Tough indeed. You went in out there. Wendy, Olympic, represented Nairobi. You ended up finishing in the fourth position. Butere were number one. Kayatiwi was second. St. Joseph's Kitale were third. Then Olympic fourth. Which was the most difficult match for you guys?
The most difficult match was us playing against Butere.
Why? What made it difficult?
Because Butere had an advantage. They had tall players, but us, we were short. We didn't have enough big mans. Yeah.
I'll find out from the TM, because when I look at the height, kweli uwezi wacha nisitumie asha kumsi matusi. Uwezi ukaiangalilia vingine. Looking at the heights, normally basketballers TM are very tall. Yeah. Even look at Fidel here, they normally have the height advantage. But when I look at Olympic, you don't see it, but usiwadharau, they can take you all the way to the fourth quarter with very good performances. Yusra, how was it like for you?
Honestly, it was tough, but we did our best.
Please go ahead.
We did our best because from where we started, the journey was long and was not easy.
The journey normally starts the moment you put up a team together, TM, Mr. John Omache. Yes. The moment you put up a team and start preparations for the same. As you started the journey, even with the zonals going up to the county games, did you have the belief that you'd make it to the East African Games, leave alone the nationals?
We normally know that a journey of 1,000 miles starts with a single step, and now we started from the sub-county level, believing that we'll win, and we won. All the way to the regionals, it was tough, it was not easy. To be the champions at Nairobi region, we sailed through, and now we continued believing that at the end of it all, we'll make it to the East African Games. And I can say that by God's grace and all the members involved by the corporation, we were able to. Thank you.
As we look at the same, Fidel, Laser are, usual suspects. Dr. Agri, usual suspects for the same. Dagoretti has ensured that you are up there fighting against them. What do you think was their competitive edge in terms of being finalists? That's both Laser and Dr. Agri. Is it their height? Is it their physique? Is it that they are normally just over-prepared for these national ball games?
From what I can say is that they had confidence than us, and they were also prepared in terms of height, in terms of physique. Yeah, they were prepared even mentally.
So what was their strong point? Are they a team that, has a lot of gas? Is it that they are good in three-pointers? Anything that you think that probably never worked for you guys as a team that made them get the better of you by the end of the day?
I can say that they are good in defense. They really defended us against scoring our goals, which became a problem for us. Yeah. And
playing the likes of Dagoretti back in their backyard, how are the crowds? Were they tough? Were they, against you? Were the crowds pushing them all the way? Yeah, they were against us. It was very challenging. They were shouting at us even, yeah. Shouting? Yeah. But it's normal with, with matches. You have to be prepared physically and mentally for the same. Wendy, we've gone to Mombasa. The temperatures are completely different from Nairobi. However, we have to deliver the goods. We have to ensure that we remain at the top. How was the weather like for you guys? Ilikuwa na joto ama ilikuwa tu ni kawaida kama hii ya Nairobi ambayo leo joto kesho baridi?
The weather was hot, but we were just to manage it because there was nothing we can do about the weather. Yes.
Yusra, in terms of the school supporting you, in terms of equipment, in terms of ensuring that you get the time to train, is that something that the school looks into, to consider that you also need to balance and ensure that your talent grows?
In terms of school supporting us, the school was really supportive. In terms of time management, it was nice because it was late. By the way tunatokanga late saa 2 usiku na school inatusupport sana.
Kama kuna game moja ambayo pengine Wendy mungependa irudiwe saa hii, kuna game yote ambayo ungependa mrudie na pengine muhakikisha kwamba mmecheza vilivyo? Game gani?
Yetu na Joga. Us Olympic playing against Joga. Yes.
Mbona mungetamani irudiwe?
Because we lost with 5 points, and it was because of our small mistakes, and which we have already corrected. Yeah.
So saizi mkipata nafasi
kumaliza tu kazi.
Kuanguka na wao.
Kuanguka.
Karibu sana. Let's go to you, Fidel. Fidel, we're looking at Dagoretti. Dagoretti is a known powerhouse, in the school system. That's from a sports point of view. And credit must be given to the former principal, who is currently the MP, that's Kibra, Mr. Peter Orero, brought in and put up a very strong base from a sports point of view. You are known, within Nairobi as one of the powerhouses. Does that push you guys? Because there is always that respect. When you hear Dago, you just know there is trouble coming your way. Do you really put a lot of emphasis on sports? Because you also balance it very well with books.
Yeah, the school gives us pressure in terms of playing and in terms of even books, because you can't let the name of the school down, so you have to push ourselves to the best. So that's why we prefer ourselves to the best. Yeah.
And the facility, I've been to Dagoretti, and the grass, the playing surface, you have a very big field that nothing stops you. Is it the same with Olympic in Kibra with facilities and stuff, John?
Yeah, let me start by saying that in Kibra sub-county, we have the best state-of-the-art basketball courts. If you can find time, just come and see for yourself. You have the best courts, I can say, in Kenya. Yeah.
Wow, and that's a key ingredient in terms of getting the best of your players. As we get ready for the East African Games, Wendy, what can you promise Kibra and of course Olympic School?
What I can promise is that we will go and play good basketball and keep the name of our school high.
Yusra, michezo ziende wapi? Nairobi, Mombasa, Kisumu, Kakamega, ziende wapi kwa maoni yako?
Kwa maoni yangu, michezo zirudi Mombasa.
Zirudi Mombasa?
Yeah.
Ungependa sana zirudi Mombasa? Wow, kwa maoni yako. Na kwako Wendy?
Kwa maoni yangu, pia ningeona tu irudi Mombasa.
Irudi Mombasa?
They prefer Mombasa.
You prefer Mombasa? Yeah. As TM?
The players being the key stakeholders in this, they have said it all. I cannot oppose.
You cannot oppose?
They are the players, and they are okay with that one.
They are okay?
Yeah.
Wengi wape, usipowapa, watakunyang'anya.
Ndio hiyo.
Waswahili wanasema. So you all want Mombasa? Yeah. Parting shot?
I would say, I would thank the school for supporting us and giving us facilities to play our games and train. That's all.
Thank you very much. Wishing you all the best, Wendy. Wishing you all the best, Yusra, as you go to the East African Games. Same to you, Fidel, John. Wishing you all the best as you continue preparing the team. We take a break from basketball and we'll let you know what's coming up next. We are going into a short commercial break. Don't go away. This is KBC Channel 1, your true sports partner.